21, the Code Man, Cody J. Berg from New Philadelphia, Ohio. Route 39 Auto Salvage, T&L Mowing, sponsors on the 21. The 169, Bobby DeVore II, had a good run in the Firecracker 150 last week. The number 25 tonight being driven by Neil Rowley. He'll start inside of row number 2. On the outside of row number 2, making his second appearance of the year, the 67 of Bob Page in that new late model. The number 48, the Mountain State Missile, Jonathan Ritter from Weirton, West Virginia. 3-time late model champion Bob Snyder Jr. and your point leader in the number 17. He'll start on the outside of row number 3. And your fastest qualifier in the number 0. Last time out, he picked up the feature win 2 weeks ago. George Riddle in the 0. Lights are out. Field got the 1 to go signal. Filling in for Terry Coletti. Getting ready to go green, 8-lap heat race number 1 for the McIntosh Oil Company late models. Cody J. Berg, Bobby DeVore II, green flag in the air. The Code Man with the race lead down the back straightaway into turn number 3. DeVore drops back to the 3rd, 4th, 5th spot now. Neil Rowley in caution on the speedway. Second. Getting ready to go green in turn 3 and 4. We start at the stripe. Green flag in the air. J. Berg and DeVore. DeVore on the outside will hang on to that second spot. Now here comes Neil Rowley. Rowley subbing for Chris Grubbs tonight in the 25. He'll take over the second spot. J. Berg out front in the 21. Rowley second. Here comes Jonathan Ritter for the 3rd spot. Riddle going to try and take over 4th. Just past the halfway mark, Neil Rowley slides up the racetrack. Jonathan Ritter to the inside. Rowley going to close the door in turn 3. Sideways off of 4 is Rowley in the 25. Ritter patient in that 3rd spot. Riddle 4th. Snyder 5th. Cody J. Berg way out in front in the 21, white flag in the air. Rowley sideways again in that 25. Neil Rowley up the racetrack. And off of turn number 4, heat race number 1 winner, the Code Man, Cody J. Berg. Neil Rowley will finish 2nd, Ritter 3rd, Riddle 4th, Snyder 5th. Rounding out the field, Bob Page and Bobby DeVore II. Pulling to the line, heat race number 1 winner in the McIntosh Oil Company late models on NAC Tuning Night at Midvale Speedway. From New Philadelphia, Ohio, on the Route 39 Auto Salvage, T&L Mowing, Rick Watson, Trucking, South Philly Pizza, sponsored number 21. Put your hands together for the Code Man, Cody J. Berg. For the 57 of AP Wren, the 77 is Bear Swartz. The number 10 is Mayo Spence from Perry, Ohio. The number 83, RJ White, his first night here this season from Willoughby, Ohio. And rounding out your late model field, the 88 is Dennis Wood. Speedway. Kenny Vickers, 72 years old today. Bob the Animal Eichel, been racing down here for decades. Bear Swartz in the 77. 57 is AP Wren, green flag in the air. Vickers going to slide up the racetrack into the animal. Here comes AP Wren. Wren looking to the inside. Vickers will close the door. Kenny Vickers will lead lap number 1. No, it is not 1985, but Kenny Vickers is leading a late model heat race at Midvale Speedway. Mayo Spence in the outside lane in the number 10. He'll get around AP Wren. Here comes Mayo Spence for the race lead on Kenny Vickers. Bear Swartz slides up the racetrack. Mayo Spence will take the race lead. Spence, your race leader. AP Wren right there in that third spot. Bear Swartz going to go to the outside of AP Wren. Kenny Vickers up the racetrack a little bit. A little door banging right there from AP Wren into the 44 of Vickers. Vickers up the racetrack. The 83 of RJ White will take over third. Bear Swartz to fourth. Kenny Vickers back to fifth. White flag for Mayo Spence. Off turn number 4, heat race number 2 to Mayo Spence. AP Wren second, RJ White third, Bear Swartz fourth, and Kenny Vickers in fifth. Wheels Restoration and Slusser Trucking sponsored number 10. Put your hands together for Mayo Spence. Back from New Philadelphia, Ohio, in the J-Mac Auto Detailing, Doug Moore Sales and Leasing at Chuck Nicholson. On the outside, Kevin McClintock in the 38, multi-time champion at Midvale Speedway in the modifieds, Detroit Irons, and street stocks. Kevin McClintock from Dover, Ohio, in the Van Meters Auto Repair, Hans Place Pizza by Penzo's of New Philadelphia, sponsored number 38. Row number 3, the 49 is Bob Page, again pulling double duty tonight. The 331, last year's modified champion Mike Stone from Carrollton, Ohio. And tonight's fastest qualifier, the youngster in the Magic Hobby, sponsored number 66, Lewis McGrath. 8-lap heat race for the Van Meter Auto Repair Modifieds is green. Into turn number 3, the Rooster on the outside, cocks up the racetrack off the bottom. He'll lead lap number 1. McClintock and McMillan still side by side for the third spot. Bailey still looking to get around the 09 of Philip Cox. The 54 of McMillan has gotten around the 38 of McClintock. McClintock still digging in that outside lane, trying to get around Big Mac. The Rooster, Brandon Bailey, all over Philip Cox for the race lead. White flag for Philip Cox. The Rooster all over the back of that 09. Final time down the back straightaway. Into turn number 3. McClintock still racing for that third spot. Philip Cox going to win. Bailey will finish second. McMillan third. McClintock fourth. Then Bob Page rounding out the top 5. Sherrodsville, Ohio, in the New Philly Barbell, your pizza shop. K9 Fitness, Snyder Home Improvements, Finish Line Designs, Auto Palilli, the 4th sponsored, number 09. Put your hands together for Philip Cox. The number 57 is Braden Swaney from New Philadelphia, Ohio, in the Quaker Drive-Thru, 5-Barrel Bullet Brewery, Uricksville, Eagle sponsored 57. The number 4 is Jerry DeVore from Midvale, Ohio, in the DeVore's Auto Repair, Rent-to-Own Buckeye Tire and Brake sponsored number 4. And the number 50 is Slick Willie Walker from Uricksville, Ohio, in the Trenton Service Trip Walker Racing sponsored number 50. Getting ready to go green, 8-lap heat race number 2. Green flag in the air. Brandon France on the outside. Bobby DeVore on the bottom. Here comes brother Jerry DeVore. Slides up the racetrack just a little bit. France, DeVore still side by side. Brandon France, your race leader. Bobby DeVore into the 28 of Brandon France and spun it around and collected his brother Jerry. Caution on the speedway in turn number 4. Go green flag racing off of turn number 4. Chief starter Chuck Barrett. Green flag in hand, and we're back underway. Brandon France back out front. Jerry DeVore going to try to get to the inside of Braden Swaney. DeVore almost there. Swaney going to stay in the high lane. DeVore back to the bottom. White flag for Brandon France. Checkered flag for Brandon France, Jerry DeVore, and Braden Swaney. Ram Concrete, Peebles Racing, BP Photography, NS Hauling, and R.A. Mosier sponsored number 28. Put your hands together for Brandon France. Ennis. Row number 2, the 15, feature winner earlier this year, Kyle Finlayson, also pulling double duty tonight. The number 3, rookie driver Austin Berger. And first night driving the number 69 is Barney Gerber, last year's mini truck champion in the number 69, starting out back, getting ready to go green flag racing next time. Kenny Feaster Jr., Wes Ennis on the front row. Mid-season championship night. Presented by NAC Tuning. Final heat race for the modifieds. Getting ready to go green off of turn number 4. Feaster and Ennis. So Feaster and Ennis will try it again in turn number 4. That's better. Feaster and Ennis, green flag in the air. Wes Ennis still in the outside lane. Feaster on the bottom. Kyle Finlayson to the inside of Wes Ennis for the second spot. Feaster continues to lead. Finlayson to the inside of Ennis. Good battle for second. And Ennis going to have that second spot. Finlayson slides back. Ennis doing work in the outside lane. Kenny Feaster Jr. still your leader. Kenny Feaster Jr. Your winner, Wes Ennis, finishes second. Kyle Finlayson third. Rookie Austin Berger in fourth. And Barney Gerber in fifth. Ohio, in the Sibley Mart, Sunoco Race Fuels, Lee's Famous Recipe, South Philly Pizza, Peebles Racing, and Last Stop Tackle Shop, sponsored number 13, Kenny Feaster Jr. Tools by Doug Pool Street Stock. Starting on the pole, the 44, is Brandon Donnelly from Barberton, Ohio. Alongside subbing for Kylie Wood tonight, the old veteran Dave Wagner. Row number 2 and the number 8 is Tad Grove. Bob Passwater Sr. in the 75. Kyle Grove to the inside of row number 3. And your fastest qualifier, the number 88, last year's champion, Dennis Wood. Field in turn number 3. Brandon Donnelly, second-year driver. Dave Wagner, the old veteran. Green flag in the air. Brandon Donnelly, your race leader. Wagner in the outside lane. Tad Grove trying to get to the inside of that 22. Wagner way up the racetrack. Kylie would not like any marks on that number 22. Hopefully Wagner doesn't put any there. I'm sure, though, if he does, he'll fix them anyway. Into turn number 3, Tad Grove on the bottom. He'll take over the second spot. Brandon Donnelly, your race leader. Halfway home, 4 in, 4 to go. Donnelly still your leader, but Dave Wagner battling back in that outside lane. Kylie Woods already won 2 features in that number 22 this season. Tad Grove only the 3rd night out in that number 8, having a good run on the bottom. White flag for Brandon Donnelly. Looking for that first feature or first heat race win in that number 44, second-year driver. Getting better and better each and every week. Tad Grove, a little chrome horn. Here comes Wagner off of 4. Brandon Donnelly, your winner. Dave Wagner will finish second. Tad Grove, 3rd. Kyle Grove, 4th. Dennis Wood in 5th. Painting UFO, Lee's Famous Recipe, Automotive Electric, DW Fabrication, Quality Lawn Care and Wood, RPM Motorsports, sponsor number 44. Put your hands together for Brandon Donnelly. Tools by Doug Pool Street Stocks. It was the Bucky Mowing Street Stocks last year. Cut me a break. It's only been 10 weeks. Starting on the pole, the 64 is Ian Porco. Winner 2 weeks ago in that number 64, first career feature win. 2 feature wins for the Red Rocket in the 58. That's Zach Koger. The 99 is Jason Gruhl. The 118 is Camaro Hair, Colt Locker. The number 7 of Gabe Pringle. And the Mineral City Marauder in the 54 is Chase Berkey. 8-lap heat race number 2 for the Snap-on Tools by Doug Pool Street Stocks is green. And caution in turn number 2, the 99 of Jason Gruhl, the 118 of Colt Locker. Get together going into turn number 1. The 7 of Gabe Pringle spins to the bottom in avoidance. Make sure you get on Facebook. Let us know what we did good. Ready to go. Green flag racing. 1 lap complete. Zach Koger, Ian Porco. Gabe Pringle to the inside of Ian Porco for the second spot. Halfway home, 4 in, 4 to go for the Red Rocket. Zach Koger, your race leader. Gabe Pringle, second. Had nothing but a miserable couple seasons for the 2-time street stock champion driver, that number 7. Ian Porco, a good sophomore year. He picked up a feature win. And the Mineral City Marauder Chase Berkey in his second season as well. Pringle still all over the back of that 58 of Koger. White flag in the air for Zach Koger. Final time through turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Into turn number 3. Pringle one last ditch effort. Not going to get there. Koger going to be your race winner off of turn number 4. Gabe Pringle will finish second. Ian Porco third. Chase Berkey in fourth. On NAC Tuning Night, from Dover, Ohio in the Haas Body Shop, Matco Tools by Mike Raybung, South Philly Pizza, Federated Auto Parts, Blick Tool and Die, Consolidated Stitches Embroidery, Allen's Muffler, and Tedesco Racing Graphics, sponsored number 58, the Red Rocket, Zach Koger. Rookie driver, first night out, TJ Dreyer in the 73. A third generation driver starting on the pole, his first night out. Late model champion Bryant Smith will start alongside in the number 1. The 55 is Kyler Bertram. Bob Passwaters Jr. will start alongside in row number 2. The third Wood, Katie Wood, will start inside of row number 3. And making his first appearance in a street stock, former mini truck competitor Scott Lindell in the 19. Getting ready to go green. TJ Dreyer, first time in a machine. Green flag in the air. Bryant Smith will get the jump into turn number 1. Dreyer gets pushed through turn number 1. He'll come out of turn number 2, running second. Here comes Passwaters Jr. to the outside. Passwaters Jr. to the second spot. Way up the racetrack. Bryant Smith, your race leader. Passwaters all over the back. Here comes Kyler Bertram. Katie Wood to the inside of TJ Dreyer. And Lindell to the inside as well. Good battle up front. Passwaters Jr., Bryant Smith. Kyler Bertram looking to the inside of Bryant Smith. Smith trying to close the door. Bertram on the bottom. Here comes Kyler Bertram. Inside of Bryant Smith for the race lead. Off turn number 4, Kyler Bertram, your race leader. White flag for Kyler Bertram. Off of turn number 4, Kyler Bertram will win. Bryant Smith second. Bob Passwaters Jr. third. Katie Wood fourth. Scott Lindell fifth. TJ Dreyer in sixth. Heat race number 3 winner for the Snap-on Tools by Doug Pool Street Stocks in the RPM Auto Sales. Joe's Auto, Tony Newman Roofing, Lakes Auto Recycling. Sponsored number 55. Put your hands together for Kyler Bertram. Trophy Stocks, Starting on the pole, the 37 is Jacob Keller from Minerva, Ohio. Alongside the 42 is Damian Andrews from Alliance. Row number 2, A.J. Andrews in the 2. The 62 is Tyler Scott. The 68 is Corbin Robinson from Midvale, Ohio. The 17 is Noah Kaufman. And out back, your new track record holder and your fastest qualifier in the number 6 is Nolan Caldwell from Sherrodsville, Ohio, in the My Water Doctor, Bucky Mowing, CCR Roofing, Romar Performance Motorsports, sponsored number 6. Again, the beginner class, 3 years of experience and less, getting ready to go green, 8-lap heat race number 1. Keller with the race lead into turn number 3. Andrews battling back on the high side. Tyler Scott looking to go 3 wide. Thought better of it. Now he's going to go way up the racetrack. Tyler Scott, couple of feature wins in this division this season. Damian Andrews in the 42 and the 37 of Keller battle for that race lead. Jacob Keller continues to lead. Good side-by-side racing in the trophy stock division. Andrews starting to inch out in front. Now Keller going to battle back. Oh, there goes a tire off the 2 of A.J. Andrews. Getting ready to go green. Green flag for Andrews and Keller. Damian Andrews, Tyler Scott, Jacob Keller, your front 3. Nolan Caldwell trying to work that outside lane around Corbin Robinson. 5 laps complete. White flag coming out for Damian Andrews. Tyler Scott unable to get around. Caldwell still working to try and get around Robinson for the 4 spot. Checkered flag for Damian Andrews. Tyler Scott will finish 2nd. Jacob Keller 3rd. Nolan Caldwell did get around Corbin Robinson for the 4th spot. Robinson finishes 5th. Then Kaufman and A.J. Andrews, who was out earlier. Addiction Trophy stocks from Alliance, Ohio, and the D&N Lawn Care. Sponsor number 42. Put your hands together for Damian Andrews. The number 4 is Chloe Stuber. Actually, I don't think that's Chloe Stuber. I think that's Jonathan Thompson. Jonathan Thompson in the number 4. The 07 is Evan Worrell from Bowerston, Ohio. The number 12 is Tristan Keller from Minerva. Row number 3 is the 61 of Chris Burdett from Tuskegee, Ohio. Multi-time feature winner in the 62, Caden Scott. And out back the 33 times 3, Storm Johnson from Harlem Springs. As your field crawling through 3 and 4. Getting ready to go green. Dennison and Thompson on the front row. Three wide, way up the racetrack goes Caden Scott. Burdett up to the second spot rather in the 61, and contact between Dennison and the 07 of Worrell. Ooh. Out front, Jonathan Thompson in the number 4. The 61 of Chris Burdett runs second. Caden Scott third. Oh, here comes Caden Scott. Scott. Caden Scott to the race lead in the 62. Here comes Burdett for second. Thompson back to third. Caden Scott, your race leader in the 62. Burdett in the 61. The 4 of Thompson. The 51 of Dennison. The 07 of Worrell. The 12 of Keller. The 33 times 3 of Johnson. White flag for Caden Scott. Checkered flag for Caden Scott. Chris Burdett. Thompson up the racetrack. And he'll finish third. Worrell in fourth and Keller in fifth. Heat race number 2 winner in the number 62 from Roswell, Ohio in the Anywhere Tree Care, Courthouse Barbershop, Lee's Famous Recipe, TDT Septic and Excavating, Buckeye Tire and Brake, and Cronizer's Equipment Sales sponsor number 62, your winner Caden Scott. The 000 is Blake Ripley. The 442 is Connor McLean. Blake Ripley in the 000, the 442 of Connor McLean, the 443 of Eddie McLean. Your fastest qualifier, Bob Johnson in the 99. The 26 is Chad Squires, the 57 of Rick Brink. Green flag in the air, 8-lap heat race number 1. Hoopengarner gets split down the middle. Tia Henry to the race lead in the 21. Ripley on the bottom in the second spot. Connor McLean in the high lane. His dad in the low lane in the 443. Ripley tries to block to the bottom. Eddie McLean to the infield. Here comes Bob Johnson in the 99. Up to the third spot. Ripley second. Tia Henry, your race leader. Speeding ticket for Tia Henry. Speeding ticket for Tia Henry. 2 laps under her qualifying time. She'll get the black flag. They split Tia Henry, Bob Johnson. Blake Ripley, Bob Johnson battle for the race lead. Johnson at the line, halfway home, 4 in, 4 to go. Eddie McLean will get around son Connor McLean to move up to the 3rd spot. Tough break for Tia Henry. 2 laps under her qualifying time. She goes to the tail. Eddie McLean trying to get around Blake Ripley for the 2nd spot. Bob Johnson, your race leader. Final time into turn number 3. Johnson, your leader. Ripley and McLean. Bob Johnson will win. Ripley 2nd. Eddie McLean 3rd. Connor McLean 4th. And Chad Squires, spraying for mosquitoes, will finish 5th. Truck heat race winner from Harlem Springs, Ohio in the Benchmark Construction, Ken and Mark Nice, Deluxe Body and Mr. Drywall, sponsor number 99. Bob Johnson, your winner. Pole the 44 is Mike Stuber. The 36 is Rich Dunlap. Your point leader, the 007 DR3, Don Rufner III. His dad alongside Don Rufner Jr. on the outside. The 52 last week's feature winner, Jeremy Salinger. The 79, Phil Bunton Jr. And your fastest qualifier, former compact champion, also a modified feature winner, driving his brother's car tonight, Kyle Finlayson, your fastest qualifier in the 53. Getting ready to go green, Stuber and Dunlap. Mike Stuber, your race leader, Rich Dunlap, 2nd. DR3 trying to come up through the middle. Him and Junior battle side by side for that 3rd spot. Still 2x2 up front. Salinger trying to get up through there. Last week's feature winner in the 52. Salinger to the inside of Rufner Jr. Is DR3 to the inside of Rich Dunlap for 2nd. Now trying to get to the inside of Stuber. Mike Stuber protecting the bottom. Dunlap and DR3 still side by side. Stuber trying to hang on out front. Rich Dunlap will lead at the line. Into turn number 3. Rich Dunlap, Dunwoody on the outside, Stuber on the bottom. Good racing in the compacts. Dunlap still by a nose at the line. White flag for Dunlap and Stuber. Into turn number 1. Final time. Dunlap inching out. Now a good run off of turn number 2. He has Stuber cleared into turn number 3. Dunlap has the bottom. He'll close the door. Off of turn number 4, your heat race winner, Rich Dunlap. Mike Stuber finishes second. DR3 in third. Jeremy Salinger fourth. Kyle Finlayson in fifth. So your heat race number 1 winner from New Philadelphia, Ohio in the United Rentals Used Equipment Sales, DR3 and Roofner Racing sponsored, number 36, Dunwoody, Rich Dunlap. The number 5 is Justin Courtney. The number 82 is Ronald Bunton. The 23M is Zach Marshall. The 00 is John Heidi. The number 22B is Braden Maurer. And out back, the number 57 driving that machine tonight is Wes Ennis, pulling double duty in his modified and in the Sizzler Blaze Bacon's 57 tonight. So getting ready to go green, Drew Romig on the front row with the 5 of Justin Courtney. Getting ready to go green, Romig and Courtney. Green flag in the air. Justin Courtney. Scott Wendling got a feature win in the B feature last week in that number 5. Trying to get around the outside of the 69. Good racing up front once again. The 69 of Romig, the 5 of Courtney, still side by side. And now Romig will clear off of 4. Justin Courtney falls back into that second spot. Ronald Bunton in third. John Heidi fourth. Here comes Wes Ennis in the 57. Drew Romig, your race leader. Starting to pull away from Justin Courtney. Wes Ennis, former compact champion, trying to move his way up through the field in 4th right now behind Ronald Bunton. White flag for Drew Romig. Final time off of turn number 4, Drew Romig, your winner. Justin Courtney, Wes Ennis, Ronald Bunton, and Braden Maurer, your top 5. So your winner is not Drew Romig, back behind the wheel of the number 69 from Sherridsville, Ohio. In the My Water Doctor, Bucky Mowing and Snow Removal, Romar Performance Motorsports sponsored number 69 is Nolan Caldwell. The number 5, last year's trophy stock champion, Tabby Stuber. The first ever female champion at Midvale Speedway in the 68-year history. Behind the wheel of that number 5 And the number 0 is Alan Clark. Getting ready to go green, Jonathan Weber, Laura Day. Brendan Neely in the 68. The 85 of Jonathan Weber, Brendan Neely in the 68. The 80 of Candy Button. The 23 of Brenton Irwin. Caution on the speedway. Candy Bunton and the 23 of Brenton Irwin get together in turn number 4. Two laps complete. Green flag back in the air. Brenton Irwin up to the 2nd spot. Brendan Neely back to 3rd. Here comes Tabby Stuber. Tabby trying to get to the inside of Brendan Neely. Neely will close the door. Timmy trying to go around the outside. Brenton Irwin to the outside of Jonathan Weber. Brenton Irwin to the race lead. Irwin, Weber, Neely, Stuber. Tabby Stuber to the inside of Brendan Neely. Contact in turn 3 up the racetrack. And Alan Clark involved. Alan Clark 4th. Timmy Long in 5th. Green flag in the air. Irwin with a good start. Jonathan Weber up the racetrack. Here comes Tabby Stuber. Tabby to the 2nd spot. Stuber and Irwin. Final time, white flag in the air. Checkered flag, Brenton Irwin. Tabby Stuber finishes 2nd. Alan Clark 3rd. Timmy Long in 4th. Jonathan Weber rounding out your field. So we'll take a brief intermission, get our feature lineup set over pit side, and we'll be rolling with features. Heat race number 3 from Yerricksville, Ohio, your winner in the Chronizers Equipment Sales. Lonzer Excavating, Racer 8 Performance and Lee's Famous Recipe, sponsor number 23. Put your hands together for Brenton Irwin. At Midvale Speedway week number 10, starting on the pole, the 51 is Jordan Dennison. On the outside, the number 4, Jonathan Thompson. The 07 is Evan Worrell. The number 12 is Tristan Keller. The 61 is Chris Burdett. The 62 is Caden Scott. The 37X is Jacob Keller. The 42 of Damian Andrews. The 2 of AJ Andrews, rather. The 68 of Corbin Robinson. The 17 of Noah Kaufman. The 6 of your fastest qualifier, Nolan Caldwell. The 33X of Storm Johnson. The 62 of Tyler Scott. Field gets the one to go signal on midseason championship night, brought to you by NAC Tuning here at Midvale Speedway. Good field of trophy stocks. The Canton Addiction Trophy Stock Division, again a beginner's class. 3 years and less experience. Getting ready to go green. Second year for this division, already up to a nice field of cars. Dennison and Thompson on the front row. Green flag is in the air. Thompson up the racetrack, 3 wide in the middle. Caden Scott now drops to the bottom, 3 wide up front, almost 4 wide. Thompson up top, Dennison, your race leader, he'll lead lap number 1. Way up goes Tristan Keller. 3 wide racing in the middle of the pack, almost 4 wide once again. Evan Worrell way up the racetrack. Here comes the 61 of Burdett to the inside of the 51 of Dennison. The 37 of Keller to the infield. Caution on the speedway for the 37X of Jacob Keller. Tristan Keller, Noah Kaufman, Nolan Caldwell, Tyler Scott, Storm Johnson, AJ Andrews, who was charged with the caution. Getting ready to go back. Green flag racing off of turn number 4. Dennison and Burdett, and we're green. Burdett, your race leader. Evan Worrell up to the 2nd spot. Three wide off of 4. My goodness. Caution on the speedway. The 62 of Tyler Scott got spun by the 17 of Noah Kaufman. Getting ready to go back to green. Burdett and Worrell, green flag in the air. Caden Scott going to try and go up the middle, thought better of it. He'll back off and let the front 2 sort themselves out. Burdett, your race leader. Scott 2nd, Worrell 3rd, Damian Andrews to the inside of Evan Worrell. Andrews up to 3rd. Jacob Keller in the 37 trying to get around Worrell for that 4th spot. Tyler Scott way up the racetrack trying to get around Thompson in the 4. AJ Andrews to the infield. They'll continue on in turn number 1. Caution on the speedway for debris in turn number 4. To get out there and do it, and take instruction. So getting ready to go back to green, Burdett, your race leader, Caden Scott on the outside. Burdett up the racetrack. Here comes Keller for the race lead. Good move by Jacob Keller in the 37X. Jacob Keller now with Scott side by side. Oh, way up the racetrack, Robinson in the 68. Jacob Keller, your race leader in the 37. Caden Scott in second. Chris Burdett third. Corbin Robinson up to the 4th spot. Damian Andrews 5th. 10 laps complete this time. 5 to go for Jacob Keller. Jacob Keller, still your race leader. Thought about 3 wide right there. We're going to have 3 wide into turn 3. Nope. On the outside, here comes Noah Kaufman from the back to 4th in the 17. Does he have enough time? White flag, and we're going to have a mess on the front straightaway. Into turn number 1. Final time down the back straightaway. Jacob Keller, your race leader. Checkered flag for the 37 of Jacob Keller. Caden Scott finishes second. Chris Burdett third. Noah Kaufman in 4th. And Corbin Robinson in 5th. Victory lane, your winner, Jacob Keller. The neck tuning folks down here in Victory Lane, come on over, buddy. Give them that trophy. Good job. All right, man. It's been a work in progress, right? I know it's been a work in progress, brother. But tonight, it was clean. You got up front. You did it the right way tonight.
Yes, I did.
So talk about first career feature victory. It's got to feel good.
I don't even know what to say.
What? So you're speechless?
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to pull it off this year.
Well, you did, man. Congratulations. Good run. Who you want to thank on this car tonight?
I got to thank my dad first off. He helped me right from the rip once I said I was going to build a car for this year. My grandpa, he ain't here tonight, but he helps set this thing up every night. Thanks to my mom for dealing with all the race car stuff every weekend.
Yeah, it's kind of taxing on moms. We know that one.
Yeah, it don't help that both of us boys are out here, so that makes it a little worse.
It does. You going to thank your brother too, or no? Forget about him.
I'll forget about him.
All right. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Your winner, Jacob Keller. Okay, Dad's going to make him cry, so we're going to put the microphone out there. You ready?
Look at this. Him and his cousin bought this car over a year ago, and his cousin got killed in a car wreck in June of last year. And this was their car. They were going to build it. And after his cousin Colton got killed, he said, "Dad, can we do it?" I said, "Yep, we're going to do it." So we did it.
Congratulations, guys. Family, but it's happy and in remembrance. So good job by the Keller Racing team. Jacob Keller, first-time feature winner. This year, but like he just said, he pulled his head out of his butt and just did what he needed to do and win the race tonight. So congratulations to the Keller family. The Browns still stink. On NAC Tuning Mid-Season Championship Night at Midvale Speedway. Again, we appreciate all the fine folks at NAC Tuning. They're going to throw some green flags and give away some trophies tonight. Can't thank Randy and Kim Smart enough for all that they do for Midvale Speedway and racing in general. Of course, Randy Smart, longtime racer and competitor and champion here at Midvale Speedway. We appreciate everything that he does. So starting on the pole, the Mineral City Marauder, Chase Berkey. Alongside the 58 is the Red Rocket, Zach Koger, looking for his third feature victory of the season. The 99 is Jason Gruhl. The 118 is Colt Locker. The 7 is Gabe Pringle. The 44 is Brendan Donnelly. The 22 is Dave Wagner. The 8 is Tad Grove. The 75 of Bob Passwater Sr. The 3 of Kyle Grove. The 88, your fastest qualifier, Dennis Wood. The 64 of Ian Porco, the last feature winner 2 weeks ago. The number 10 of Katie Wood. The 55 of Kyler Bertram. The 73 of TJ Dreyer. The 1 of Brian Smith. The 19 is Scott Jr. and we're green. The Red Rocket out front in the 58. Chase Berkey in second. Here's Colt Walker to the outside for third. Chase Berkey takes control of that second spot. Colt Walker unable to get up there. He's in third. Then the 99 of Gruhl, the 7 of Pringle, the 58 of Koger, your race leader. Dennis Wood on the outside, marching up through the field. He's to the outside of Brendan Donnelly. Brandon Donnelly back into the 7th spot now. Wood up to 6th. The Red Rocket still out in front in the 58. The Mineral City Marauder runs second. Cabero Hare runs third. Jason Gruhl fourth. Gabe Pringle fifth. And on the outside of the 22, the battle for the 6th spot, Dave Wagner in the 22, Dennis Wood in the 88. Caution on the speedway. The 64 of Ian Porco into the 55 of Kyler Bertram off of turn number 2. Ian Porco into the 55 of Brian, the halfway mark. Field on the back straightaway. The Red Rocket, Zach Koger looking for feature win. Number 3 on the season. Chase Berkey looking for his first ever. Green flag in the air. Caution on the speedway, the 22 of Dave Wagner. Into the 99 of Jason Gruhl. Dave Wagner into Jason Gruhl in turn 3. Kick off the second half of the season. But we've got NAC tuning to finish up. And we're about ready to go back to green flag racing. Green is back in the air. Zach Koger going to have the race lead off of turn number 2. Berkey going to be back to second, but here comes Colt Locker. Locker trying to get it to the inside. He'll get it done. He'll take over second. Here comes Dennis Wood. Wood to the inside of Berkey for third. Jason Gruhl going to follow him through. Jason Gruhl up to the 4th spot to the inside of Chase Berkey. Pringle and Donnelly stuck side by side. Here comes Dennis Wood to the outside of Colt Locker. Into turn number 3. Here comes Dennis Wood to the outside of the Red Rocket. Into turn number 3. Koger trying to hang on. Wood still right there on the outside. The two make contact on the front straightaway. Zach Koger trying to hang on. Dennis Wood to the top of the racetrack, into turn number 3. Wood by a half a car length. Koger trying to hang on. Dennis Wood to the race lead. Koger trying to hang on, trying to battle back on the bottom. Still a little bit of contact between Koger and Wood. Caution on the speedway, caution. In turn number 4, Katie Wood in the 10. Zach Koger fought valiantly to hang on to that second spot. They'll restart on the front row. Green flag back in the air. Here comes Colt Walker. Dennis Wood, Zach Koger, the 118 of Colt Locker, the 44 Brandon Donnelly. Brandon Donnelly, a good top 4 run. And the 64 of Ian Porco spins in turn 4. And Koger. Field into turn number 3. Shootout to settle the street stocks. Green flag back in the air. Locker to the inside of Koger for second. Passwater's trying to get there. He gets into Koger a little bit. Now they're going to spin on the front straightaway. And a pile up in turn number 1. Career feature win. Kyle Grove looking feature win of the season. Gabe Pringle hasn't won this year. Chase Berkey has never won. So the top 6 all looking for feature wins. 2-lap shootout. Green flag is in the air. Dennis Wood will lead off of turn number 2. Here comes Brandon Donnelly to the inside of Colt Locker for second. Dennis Wood going to take the white flag. Donnelly and Locker will battle for that second spot. Gabe Pringle to the inside of Kyle Grove for third. Donnelly up the racetrack, going to lose. Pringle to the inside of Donnelly. Little bit of contact down there. Locker's going to slide off of 4. Wood's going to win. Locker finishes second. Brandon Donnelly third. Kyle Grove fourth. Gabe Pringle in fifth. And the marathon street stock feature is in the books. 8-year winner, Dennis Wood. Well, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, you're kind of old hat in neck tuning victory lane. And I would have never thought that you haven't won in the first 9 weeks.
Yeah, we've been fighting a car that we couldn't get it to turn. Finally, today we hit on it, and I think she's back now.
I got to ask you something real quick. Let's walk over here real quick. Back here on the back window of this thing, you got a special message for a longtime friend and supporter down here. You want to talk about it?
I'm going to let... Is Marie out here? Robin.
Okay. Come on. Come on over here. I don't think Dennis wants to talk about it, so we'll let you talk about it. A special message back here on the back of this thing. You want to tell me what it's for?
I'm in need of a kidney, so if anybody's interested in sharing, I could definitely use one.
Well, you've been down here and been here for so long, so I encourage everybody to go get tested, see if they're a match, and let's get Robin a kidney, right?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let's get Robin a kidney, all right? Go get tested. Go get checked out. Let's get Robin, get her taken care of so she can be down here for many more years. Real quick, who you want to thank on this 88? Because you haven't had the chance to do it all year.
Nephew's Painting, Quality Lawn Care, S&A, my exhaust, they does, Aaron Hammer Construction, Gillen Alibody, one on their night, ain't it?
Well, it's not their night, no.
Ladies Chicken, they feed us every week. I don't even remember who's on the other side of the car.
Well, at least your kid wasn't here to beat you tonight. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't think she would have had anything for me.
Congratulations, buddy. Good run.
Thank you.
Your winner in that tuning victory lane, Dennis Wood. We'll start alongside the number 21 of the code man, Cody J. Burke. The 169 of Bobby DeVore the second. the 25 of Neil Rowley, the 48 of the Mountain State Missile, Jonathan Ritter. .69 Neil Rowley in the 25, the 48 of the Mountain State Missile, Jonathan Ritter. Your point leader and three-time late model champion, Bob Snyder Jr. in the 17. The 0, your fastest qualifier, George Riddle. The 88 of Dennis Wood, the 44 of Kenny Vickers, the 67 of Bob Page, the 83 of R.J. White, the 57 of A.P. Wren, and the 69 of Bob the Animal Eichel. So field, 30-lap on NAC Tuning mid-season championship night. Bear Swartz, Mayo, Spence, green flag in the air. Caution on the speedway. Getting ready to go back to green, Bear Swartz, Mayo, Spence, and Bobby DeVore spins. So Swartz, Mayo, Spence, they'll come to green, 30-lap late model feature on mid-season championship night. And we're green. Bear Swartz, your race leader. Cody J. Berg to second. Neil Rowley to the inside of Mayo Spence for the third spot. Bear Swartz, your race leader. Cody J. Berg second, Neil Rowley third, Jonathan Ritter in the fourth spot, and the 0 of George Riddle. Jonathan Ritter to the outside of the 25 of Neil Rowley, and the motor goes on the 45 of Ritter. Caution on the speedway. Dennis Wood, the 67 AP Wren. RJ White getting ready to go back to green. Bear Swartz, your leader. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Bear Swartz and Cody Jaberg. So Bear Swartz and Cody Jaberg. Green flag in the air. Cody Jaberg going to pull off as he pulls pit side in the 21. Mayo Spence up the racetrack. '77 of Bear Swartz continues to lead. Neil Rowley in the 25, the 0 of George Riddle. The 17 of Bob Snyder Jr. Those are your top four. Caution on the speedway. Complete. Seems like this race has been going on for an hour, but we'll try it again. Bear Swartz, Neil Rowley, green flag. Guys driving like it's opening night. Green flag back in the air, 9 laps complete. Neil Rowley to the race lead, George Riddle to second. Bear Swartz shuffled out back to the third spot. RJ White now going to move up to third. Bob Snyder Jr. into Bear Swartz and spin in turn number 1. Laps complete. George Riddle on the outside. RJ White, Bob Snyder Jr. Your top 4. Green flag back in the air. George Riddle falling back into the clutches of RJ White in the 83. RJ up to second. Neil Rowley fighting a loose race car off of the corners. RJ White right there in his tire tracks. George Riddle in third. Bob Snyder Jr. fourth. AP Wren in fifth. Dennis Wood sixth. Bob Page seventh. Bear Swartz eighth. Bob the Animal Eichel in ninth. "15 laps in, 15 to go, halfway home. Neil Rowley sideways again. Caution for Bear Swartz and Bob Page in turn number 4. Green flag back in the air. So finally, Neil Rowley and RJ White will try it again. Green flag is in the air. George Riddle trying to get around Neil Rowley with 9 laps to go. Riddle back to the outside of Neil Rowley. Bob Snyder Jr. in third. George Riddle to the front. Neil Rowley back to second. Bob Snyder Jr. third. Five laps to go. George Riddle, Neil Rowley, Bob Snyder Jr. White flag this time around for George Riddle, looking for feature win number 2. Feature win number 2, George Riddle. Checkered flag. Neil Rowley finishes second. Bob Snyder Jr. third. RJ White fourth. AP Wren with a good run in fifth. Finally, the late model feature in the books. It only took 3.5 hours to get there, but we got there. I think I'm as old as Chuck Barrett is now after that feature. Today. Getting ready, he did, see, I told you. Getting ready to climb out your winner, George Riddle. Come on over here, buddy. You're getting to be old hat in neck tuning victory lane. That's a good thing, right? You get to come see me other than Applebee's, and you get another feature win, man.
I got to tell you, Chris, you're getting to be one of my favorite people to talk to. I don't understand it, but you really are moving up the ladder.
Well, that's good because I was kind of on your crap list for a while.
Yeah. You was very elusive. You just hard to talk to. I couldn't get a word in with you.
Congratulations, buddy. Great run. I'll tell you what, Roley was really protecting the bottom, but that 25 car had some speed. I think he cooked the right rear.
Yeah, he's a good driver. He really is. I mean, I haven't raced with that guy a lot, but I can tell you he can hold his own with anybody. I can tell you that.
And the 48 out early, you know, just a lot of comers and goers. It seemed like it just took forever to get some of those laps in. And then once he started clicking off laps, you get out front, and things kind of set sail from there, brother.
Yeah, we caught some breaks there. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, we did. We caught some breaks, caught some cautions at a good time, and didn't know if that outside was going to work with all this stuff down here, but we just thought, well, we better try to make it work. So you're not going to get under that guy. I tried a couple times. He's pretty good.
Yeah, you're not going to get under that thing. I agree with you. Who you want to thank on the zero tonight?
Well, I got to thank my wife for putting up with this nonsense. I got to thank John White, because John White said, if you win, I want you to. I got to thank Thad and Alex Rosenberry, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have the car. I got to thank Brian Short and Steve Needles at Needle Speed Solutions, because I'll tell you what, those guys are some smart guys, and they give me a hand over the winter getting things tuned up a little bit. My man Larry Clay, I can't say enough about that guy, because I'm telling you, he just talks me off the cliff every week, and he makes the right moves, and here we are again. So, yeah, I just got to thank John Chapman for being John Chapman, and I just think he's a great guy.
Well, I got to tell you, Larry Clay's my buddy. He's a Hall of Famer. I almost had to call him up there to talk me off the cliff about 15 laps into this thing.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Congratulations, buddy. Welcome back to Neck Tuning Victory Lane.
Thank you very much.
Your winner, George Riddle. Gerber. And the 75 is Bobby DeVore the second. Will Walker. Brandon Bailey and we're green. Brandon Bailey, your race leader. Will Walker, second. Kevin McClintock, third. Doug McMillan, fourth. Bob Page, fifth. Mike Stone, sixth. The 09 of Philip Cox in the seventh spot. Then Lewis McGrath, Braden Swaney, and J.D. Lawson. Getting close to that halfway mark. Caution on the speedway. DR3 spins in turn number 2. Looks like Austin Berger and the 3 involved. Also the 69 of Barney Gerber. He's a champion in this division. Kevin McClintock, 3-time champion. Doug McMillan, a champion in the sports stocks. Also has driven a late model. Lot of experience up front, green flag in the air. Oh, Willie Walker gets sideways and collects the field. Willie Walker got sideways, collected Philip Cox. Pile up in turn number 4. Will Walker got sideways. We'll take a look at the replay, see if he had any help or if that car just stepped out. Time after winning a championship in the street stock several years ago. Ready to go back to green. Rooster and McClintock, and we're green. Brandon Bailey clears Kevin McClintock. McClintock going to have to tuck in behind the 55. Doug McMillan trying to clear Mike Stone in the 331. Stoney still trying to get around Doug McMillan using that high lane. Five laps to go for the Rooster. McClintock in second, McMillan third, Stone fourth. Philip Cox trying to salvage that 5th place finish. Bob Page trying to wheel his way back up through the field. Page back up to the 9th spot. Actually 8th spot as he gets around Brandon France, now working on Wes Ennis. White flag for Brandon Bailey. Final time into turn number 3. Off of 4. The Rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo, goes back to victory lane. Kevin McClintock finishes second. Doug McMillan in third. Mike Stone fourth. Philip Cox in fifth. Comes your winner, the Rooster, Brandon Bailey. Man, you're almost too big to be climbing out of one of these things. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's getting rough getting in and out for sure.
Well, I mean, I don't mean you're getting bigger. I just mean you're just too big.
No, I'm getting bigger, that's for sure.
Well, that's what happens. Turn around for me because Craig will yell at me if you don't. But, you know, wife and kid coming over here. I think she's probably sleeping, it looks like, though.
Yeah, it's past her bedtime.
Well, it's past my bedtime after that late model feature.
Yeah, for sure.
You probably took a nap over there sitting pitside, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit, but no, we fought the car today. We had to run home and get master cylinders. I broke those in hot laps, and thank Dad and Grandpa and Sean for tearing the car apart when I went back and got parts. But I mean, start on the outside pull. I mean, I'll take it, but I mean, it was nice to get.
A couple times just couldn't quite make it stick out there. It's tough at times on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was going to be there whenever they said 30 out on the outside. I'm like, man, I got to get going because he ain't going to mess around out there. And I wanted to battle with him a little bit, and I seen him get a little higher here in 1 and 2. But no, it was a good run. I mean, thank everyone coming out tonight, and we'll try again next week.
All right, congratulations, buddy. Looking for championship number 2.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Your winner, the Rooster, Brandon Bailey. So once again, thank you for coming out to Midvale Speedway, enjoying your Saturday night here. We appreciate it. Beautiful weather. It ended up not raining. In the 23, John Heide in the 00, Braden Maurer in the 22. The 57 is Wes Ennis. Mike Stuber in the 44, Rich Dunlap in the 36, DR3 in the 007 with Don Rufner Jr. on the outside. Phil Bunton Jr. in the 79, Kyle Finlayson, your fastest qualifier. Jeremy Salinger, last week's feature winner. Justin Courtney, Nolan Caldwell, Alan Clark, Tabby Stuber, Brenton Irwin, Timmy Long, Candy Bunton, Jonathan Weber, Brendan Neely. Getting ready to go green, 20-lap compact feature. Green flag is in the air, Ronald Bunton and Maurer. Zach Marshall will have the race lead off of turn number 2. Braden Maurer on the outside of Ronald Bunton for second. Bunton smoking that tire. Maurer to the outside. Zach Marshall, your race leader in the 23M. Caution on the speedway. Two laps in and 18 to go. Zach Marshall bringing the field into green with Ronald Bunton on the outside. Jonathan Smith, green flag in hand. Green flag is in the air. John Heidi 3 wide around Bunton and Stuber. Now to the outside for the race lead. Here comes John Heidi in the 00. Zach Marshall and John Heidi side by side for the race lead. 4 in. John Heidi, your race leader in the 00. Here comes Don Rufner, the third. DR3 to the outside of Mike Stuber for the third spot. Phil Bunton going to follow. DR3 up to the second spot. Phil Bunton to third. Stuber back to fourth. Here comes Kyle Finlayson, your fastest qualifier, on his way up through the field. Up to fifth. Caution on the speedway. Turn number 4. Six laps complete. 14 to go. Green flag in the air. DR3, 3 wide. Here comes Phil Bunton Jr. Backs out of it wisely because he wasn't up to the door. DR3 working that high side, trying to get around John Heidi for the race lead. Three wide into turn 3. Three wide, Phil Bunton Jr. up into John Heidi. Now side by side with DR3. Heidi tries to get back to the bottom. Salinger going to make some contact. And now we're side by side for the race lead. Phil Bunton Jr. DR3. Five laps to go. 5 to go for Phil Bunton. white flag for Phil Bunton Jr. Kyle Finlayson has caught him, but he's running out of time. A lot of traffic as DR3 going to try and go to the outside. 3 wide in front of the leaders. 3 wide in front of the leaders. Here comes DR3 on the bottom. Phil Bunton Jr. 3 wide. Contact Tabby Stuber into the wall. What a crazy finish. 3 wide in front of the leaders. Phil Bunton Jr. going to pick up the win. Kyle Finlayson second. DR3 finishes third. So getting out, your winner, Phil Bunton Jr. In Knack Tuning Victory Lane, we would have the Knack Tuning sign there, but they're kind of attending to people out here. But, man, I'll tell you what, good run tonight. Heat race, you kind of got beat around a little bit, but the feature was pretty clean. That was maybe we should have sat you guys down and had a meeting with everybody at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, maybe so. It helped a little bit, I think. It was a good race.
Yeah, you guys ran real clean up front, and obviously you come off of turn 2, last lap. You look down into turn 3 and you say, dude, they're racing 3 wide in front of me. Really?
Yeah, it was crowded. I wasn't sure what to do about it. I think I bumped someone to get them out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, but what are you going to do, right? You're battling for the win. Rufner's right there on your outside. You got Finlayson right there. All 3 of you guys battling for the win, but they're battling for their spots too, right?
Right, yep. It was a good night.
Who you want to thank on the 79 tonight, man?
Red Line Red Custom Mowing, and all my friends that help every weekend on all my cars. My wife, my brother, my dad.
Congratulations, buddy. Welcome back to Knack Tuning Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Your winner, Phil Bunton Jr. So Chad Squires in the 26, Ron Hoopengartner Jr. in the 68, Tia Henry in the 21, Blake Ripley in the 000, Connor McLean in the 442, Eddie McLean in the 443, Bob Johnson, your fastest qualifier in the 99, Rick Brink in the 57. Mini truck feature getting ready to go green. Jonathan Smith, green flag in hand. And we're underway. Blake Ripley to the outside. He'll take the race lead into turn number 1. Here comes Eddie McLean. Eddie McLean up to the 2nd spot. Ripley, your race leader. He'll lead lap number 1. Squires will be running in the 3rd spot. Connor McLean 4th. Tia Henry 5th. Eddie McLean to the outside of Blake Ripley. Ripley trying to hang on to that top spot. Eddie McLean to the outside. 4 laps complete this time. Ripley hanging on. And McLean will lead at the line. Ripley going to try and battle back, goes up, gets into Eddie McLean, almost spins him out. Good save, Eddie McLean. Kick save and a beauty. Eddie McLean, your race leader. Blake Ripley, second. Bob Johnson, third. Connor McLean, fourth. Tia Henry around Chad Squires to move up to the 5th spot. White flag for Eddie McLean. Bob Johnson second, Blake Ripley third. Will they get caught in the fog that is Chad Squires in turn 3? Will it distract Eddie McLean from picking up the feature win? It will not. Eddie McLean wins. Bob Johnson second, Blake Ripley third, Connor McLean in 4th. Tia Henry is going to be in 5th, and we beat midnight. Woohoo! Number 443. I gave a little extra sound effects for you, Eddie. All 6 are still here. I think there's 12 total in the building left. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks,
Good
man.
run. Man, this thing just shoots up through the middle, and you and Blake had a good run there for a little bit. He stayed right with you once you got by him.
Blake's a hell of a driver. You know, he told me tonight he doesn't think he's a very good driver, but he's got a future in this. Well, he's a Ripley. I mean, my God, it's in the blood. But
Exactly. When you go, what now, 4th generation he is?
yeah, I can't even imagine.
I know, you know what I mean?
I watched Jack, old man Jack, running figure 8s here when I was a kid.
I know. Isn't that crazy? I'm not going to even say it. I'll tell you after I shut the mic off. But congratulations, man. A great run. Who you want to thank on this 443?
First of all, tonight, Connor. I mean, we had to add 100 pounds after winning 3 in a row, and you saw what it did in the heat race. It was junk. And, of course, we have this good set of tires we saved and moved some weight around and got rid of that push. And it was like, oh, you know, when me and Blake got to going down here, I said, oh, my God, please don't have that push come back because this is going to be bad. But, yeah, let's hit the sponsors. We got Napa. We got John Doe, John Brady, and Big A and Beth Dalton.
Congratulations, buddy. Go enjoy your Sunday with a nice beverage and a trophy.
Diet Mountain Dew. That's my beverage.
There you go. Congratulations, your winner, Eddie McLean.